Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. Sure enough, the rumors were not groundless, and the United States still targeted EDA. A few days ago, there was news that the U.S. Department of Commerce issued a notice to Synopsys, Cadence, and Siemens EDA, asking them to stop providing services to Chinese companies. At that time, there were still analysts who thought it was fake news, but now it has been officially confirmed. According to the British media Financial Times, Trump asked the three major EDA giants to completely cut off the supply of EDA software to China. As a result, China's counterattack came, and the action was very precise. Soon, two of the three EDA giants also issued an announcement to the public, confirming that they had received a notice from the U.S. Department of Commerce. These three EDA giants are all American companies. Synopsys' Chinese name is Synopsys Technology, and Cadence's Chinese name is Caideng Electronics. EDA is electronic design automation, which is mainly software related to chip design. Because the U.S. semiconductor industry started early, EDA software companies appeared earlier. After years of mergers and acquisitions, they have become global EDA tool giants. Synopsys Technology, Cadence Electronics, and Siemens EDA currently rank in the top three in the global and domestic markets. As an indispensable tool software for chip design, American companies basically monopolize the global market, and naturally cannot avoid becoming a tool for the United States to sanction China, just like the United States uses its advantages in semiconductor manufacturing equipment, materials, software, etc. to impose restrictions. EDA restrictions have also been used by the United States before, but at that time they were not aimed at all Chinese companies, but at companies that were subject to key sanctions, such as Huawei. When the United States launched sanctions at that time, the three major EDA giants stopped supplying EDA services. This is why Huawei later joined forces with relevant domestic EDA companies to jointly develop EDAs above 14 nanometers. This time, the United States cut off EDA supply to a larger area. Trump asked the three major EDA giants to completely cut off supply and stop providing EDA-related technologies to China. This is not a key enterprise, and it will affect all domestic chip design companies. The CEO of Synopsys sent an internal letter specifically to explain the new U.S. regulations and their impact, pointing out that the new U.S. restrictions completely prohibit the sale of their products and services in China, and the restrictions will officially take effect from May 29. The key is that not only can EDA be sold to Chinese companies and services cannot be provided, but even EDA-related service access is disabled. You should know that since Synopsys came to the mainland in 1995, it has set up branches in many cities in China with about 1,800 employees. This new U.S. regulation will not only affect Chinese companies, but also Synopsys business in China. More importantly, the impact on business is secondary. The biggest impact on Synopsys is an acquisition that has been underway since last year, that is, Synopsys' acquisition of the U.S. simulation software giant Ansys, worth about $35 billion. The acquisition requires approval from many important countries and regions around the world. Currently, the EU and the UK have conditionally approved it. There are many mergers and acquisitions in the EDA software industry. The three major EDA giants have gone through many mergers and acquisitions to become global giant EDA companies. However, it is precisely because their mergers and acquisitions have a large impact that relevant audits are needed. This acquisition is very important for Synopsys, because the U.S. company Ansys is a leader in the field of engineering simulation. Its software can predict aircraft wing stress or mobile phone heat dissipation performance. The acquisition will help Synopsys expand its EDA field. Now, Synopsys has submitted an application to China for this acquisition, but the current situation has suddenly changed. It is not that China does not review the M&A case, but that the acquisition case still needs to be evaluated and investigated. Now, at this critical juncture, the United States not only does not help its own companies, but uses them to further expand its chip restrictions on China. Then China naturally cannot sit idly by, so new news came that Chinese regulators have suspended the acquisition. In this regard, some foreign media directly commented that the counterattack came too quickly, and China's actions were so precise. In fact, China is not targeting Synopsys, and even the EU review has put forward conditions, not to mention that the United States has expanded EDA restrictions at this time. As soon as the news of the new EDA restrictions in the United States came out, the stock prices of the three major EDA giants fell. It is said that Synopsys and Cadence Electronics plummeted by nearly 10% in a single day, and the market value evaporated by billions of dollars. The key is that there will be greater impact in the future. Because this wave of restrictions by the United States will further stimulate the development of domestic EDA in the mainland. Domestic EDA companies such as Hwada Geotion are already accelerating their progress, and now the United States has freed up a large market share, which will force the development of domestic EDA.